Thanks for stopping by and checking out this video. This is a tool bag tour that I got a request for back when I did my van tour. Sorry it's taken so long to get around to this. We just got some decent weather here in Northeast Ohio. I recently switched from a Vito bag to this Velocity Rogue 6.0. I saw it on Scott's channel and he introduced me to the bag. It's organized a little different than the Vito, and it actually has turned out to suit me very well. Things are spread out a little more. There's some bigger pockets. I think that the build quality on the Vito is actually a little better than these Velocity bags. They use thicker materials and heavier duty construction, but the organization layout in this bag is suits me a little better. So we'll see how this lasts. You know, nothing but good to say about Vito, but so far I'm digging this bag. I wanted to give you a quick tour, really kind of targeted at what I carry and what I use those items for, not as much about what brand the tool is or who's better than the next. So let's go ahead and get this started. Back side of the bag, I've got an administrative pocket here. This is everything to do with labeling, marking, and documentation. Got a pack of Avery labels. These are easily removable and don't leave a residue. Awesome for marking all kinds of stuff with temporary labels. Got an Uglies manual. If you've never checked these out, just a wealth of information right at your fingertips. Even though we can look things up on the internet so quickly and easily now, it is still nice to have a hard copy. Formulas, pinouts, wiring methods, you know, just a great reference manual. I like to keep that in the bag with me for quick access. Lots of Sharpies, pens, pencils, Jobsite pencils. There's a good pair of Jobsite Shears here. It seems like anything we get nowadays, packaging wise, you can't get into it without a sharp tool, so nice to have those with you at all times. Some whiteout for repairing damaged ceiling tiles. It's a nice quick way to touch that up. There's a transfer punch here when transferring holes onto steel or other materials. Refill leads for the various pencils that I have. One nice thing is a reach type Sharpie or marker for transferring holes when you're mounting equipment that have kind of deep holes that a regular Sharpie won't get into. This extended tip is really nice. Nice to keep one of those in your bag. Same thing with pencils. These can be extended and they've got a nice long thin tip that you can reach into small places with. I've got a little awl, nice sharp awl for scribing, putting your initials or names, you know, identifying things, marking things permanently. Got a little bottle of Gorilla Glue here. Nice to always have some adhesive in the bag here. And that's pretty much it. Business cards. There's a document pocket here that kind of gets documents as needed. That's it here in the administrative pocket. Okay, kind of a diagnostic area of the bag. Nice large pocket here. Real good tip is to keep a hot melt glue gun when you're fastening emitters to TVs and source gear. The 2-stick tape that comes on them doesn't always last forever, but if you want a little more durability, run a bead of hot glue around it. And really awesome find was these sticks in black. You can get them in any color. After years of using the white and having an unsightly, snotty looking bead of glue around them, we started using the black, and it blends in on most TVs because they're usually black. Couple of refill sticks here with it. Nice to always have that in the bag. Level, obvious reasons. This one's lit. As you get older, your eyes start to go. I don't know if that is going to show up on the video, but nice to be able to light it up and see it easier. Also, the best stud finder I've ever encountered. I've been doing this since the 80s, and I've tried every stud finder out there, electronic. I mean, they've got one now called a Wallabot that uses your phone and all that. I've never tried it. It may be awesome, but really the quickest, easiest way is just to use a high-powered magnet. It finds the nails or screws that they fasten the drywall to the studs with, so I have the best success with this, and it's inexpensive. So keep that right in the bag. I have got a inspection mirror that's lit for seeing behind TVs. Lit but needs batteries. Seeing behind TVs, if you forget to record a serial number or you need a model number, nice to be able to run that back in there and find it. Also use your phone oftentimes to look in there, but if it's too small and too tight, that mirror comes in handy. One item that I forgot to show you in the labeling department here is quick and easy little magnifying glass. We can use our phones for magnifiers, but this is also very handy. It's got 2 different levels. Nice to have that right in your bag. Back over here, a tie wrap gun goes right with the tie wraps. This cuts the tails off. These are expensive items. I want to say this thing was $200 or $300, but it's probably 15 years old now and still works great. You can set the tension for heavy or standard, and usually I'm just using it in standard. But yeah, this will cut the tails off of tie wraps so that you don't get scraped up when you're reaching into racks and what have you that have tie wraps that have just been cut with dikes or what have you. Real nice to have, and it's quick. I've got a bottle of 3-in-1 oil. It's nice to have this right in the bag, and there's a great spot for it there. Various obvious uses. It's nice to carry that. Got your standard wand and signal generator, toner. Pretty much everybody should know what this is. Continuity checker as well. Comes in very handy and absolutely essential tool, really. This fits nicely in this big pocket up here. Also, I've got a headlamp here. These are awkward to put in the bag. They don't really fit into most pockets, but this is a great location for it here. Along with lighting, I've got a little pen light that fits into smaller holes when you're fishing and so forth. We always carry a nice high-power flashlight on our belts, but it's bigger and won't fit into a small space like that, so that's nice. There's a network tester. This is just a kind of a open shorts, crosses, shield, presence of shield. Pro tip, use the port savers. Save your integrated sockets for just a few clicks, and always plug your test circuits into these so that when they wear out, these are an inexpensive replacement, and it does just what it says, saves your ports. That in the bag here. Good quality multimeter. Absolutely essential. Got to have one. Checking voltage, AC, DC, current, continuity, and resistance. Always keep a good multimeter with it. Don't cheap out on that. It's tempting because these are a pricey item. I think I paid $250 or something for that Fluke. It's been very durable, very reliable. A no contact voltage sensor is important for safety. These will do low voltage as well as high voltage. Pretty self-explanatory. You switch over between high and low voltage and turn it on and off with one button. Got that right there with the testing. Also, along the lines of testing, I have a just a plug-in tester that you can see from across the room unattended. So if you're looking for a breaker, or if you got someone to help you out, or you want to test wiring of a receptacle, this will tell you that the neutral's in the right side, the hot's in the right side, and it's grounded. Just a quick little checker. Jobsite Radios. Here's another tip for you. If you're lining up security cameras and you don't have the ability to plug a monitor right at the camera, if you're doing it with one guy at the DVR and one guy at the camera, using your phones works, but there's quite a bit of latency on most cell systems, up to 2-3 seconds in some cases. So as you're trying to set the focus or what have you, aiming it, you usually go past it before the guy's message gets to you. Jobsite radios, and these are rechargeable. Real nice to have right in the bag with you if you can possibly find a place to carry those. So they're always convenient. Usually what happens if you don't, they're out in the truck and you don't get them, so you use the phones and then you struggle through that way. Real nice to keep those in the bag. I switched over a year or so ago from a butane driven soldering iron to this cordless, and have been very pleased with it. For what we do in the low voltage business, this makes plenty enough heat for us. It's got interchangeable tips. Works with the battery systems that we're invested in here. The Milwaukee 12s and other tools are 18, but we've got plenty of these, so we're always have power with us. And another tip, remember to develop the habit, if you pull a battery out because it's discharged, don't just throw a new one in. If you can, set up a charger, get the next one charging, so you don't find yourself without power for your tools. Right here with the soldering iron is, of course, solder. Keep it in a little tube. And I stopped using a sponge and water for cleaning the solder, the tip. This little brass tip cleaner works great. There's no, you don't have to go find water. It doesn't take any heat from the tip to clean it. You just plunge it in, and the sharp edges on the brass clean it off. Doesn't leave any residue or anything, and you always have a nice clean tip for soldering. A lot of guys that complain about soldering irons that don't have enough power, I watch in their videos, they really don't understand soldering very well. They don't keep their tips clean. They don't put a bead of melted solder between the work and the tip to conduct the heat. You got to keep your tip clean and tinned. There are videos out there about soldering. It seems like a really basic thing, but there is some science and technology behind it, and technique that you really want to learn. Tape measure. On this bag, it's inside, which is a bit of a trade-off. I like them on the outside, but I have lost a number of tape measures from either people taking them, or it gets bumped as you're carrying, you don't realize it, and you've lost a tape measure. So this isn't too bad. It's right there. Right along with that, I've got a digital tape, or laser tape. Goes up to, I think this is 150 or 160 foot. Very handy when you're doing sales calls if you need to kind of estimate wire lengths. Real quick, shoot it. Really long ones, I've got a wire wheel in the truck, but it's nice to have this in the bag. Even when you're running wire, if you want to estimate, use your footage counters on the wire. Most every brand of wire comes with foot markings on the right on the wire, and you can estimate, do I have enough wire in this box to do it? Well, it says I've got 120 foot, and just a quick line of sight check with one of those will tell you if the box will do it. It's always a bitch to pull the wire and find out, geez, this isn't going to make it. I got to pull it again. This is another little stud finder. It's also magnet based. Works okay. Not quite as powerful as the C.H. Hansen, but it does work. And that's it in this pocket. So this bag has a center section for large items. One of the main reasons I switched over to it. It's tough to find a spot for something like that in your tool bag, but fits nicely in the center of this. This is an impact, which is also a bit of a trade-off. The impact is really nice when you're using it as a screw gun, but it does challenge you when you're trying to use it as a drill. We carry bits that click right into this quick change chuck, and it's really awesome to have a way to drill right here in your everyday carry bag. These click right in. The thing works as a drill. The ultimate tool for me would be one that has impact but has a switch to lock out the impact feature and let it just rely on the torque of the motor. That way you could drill. You can drill with this, but if you hit too much resistance, it starts going to impact, and it'll do it. It's just noisy, and I don't know, kind of looks unprofessional if you're using an impact for a drill. I would love for Milwaukee or someone to come up with one of these that has a lockout so that you can turn off the impact feature. I have never seen one yet. If anyone knows of one, I'd love to know it. But this fits right in the bag. Important to remember to lock it out when you put it in the bag, because in this particular, the way I like to stow it in there, the trigger does get bumped and you'll hear a runaway screw gun in the bag. So also in that center section are index for drills, and I've got another here for various bits, driver bits, and extension. These are all impact rated. A couple of common socket sizes, an adapter for using standard sockets with this gun. It's nice to throw that in one of these. I don't think any of the kits really come with this, but you can buy these separately and stick them in there. I've got one here for 3/8, and elsewhere in the bag I've got one for 1/4 inch drive. Have not yet found a good organizer I want to put down in here for ready stock, which would be, you know, RJ45 ends, coax, you know, F fittings, B and C fittings, screws, fasteners, just ready stock stuff that you want to have a little assortment of, so you don't make a trip back out to the truck or have to pull, you know, haul a great big organizer in there. Especially if you're running service, it's nice just to have a little bit of ready stock with you. That's kind of a standard procedure that we use. I've got a socket set here that runs all the way up to 9/16. Here's one of those bits that I talked about for 1/4 inch drive. We'll click right into the screw gun. This is a nice small form factor one that fits right in the center here. So that's everything I currently have in the center of my bag. Around the front. There's a large pocket here I have not yet populated. Haven't really decided what I want to put in there. I should really throw a microfiber in there to have with me, a couple of them. One for you know, dirty cleanup, and one for clean, like wiping off a screen, just to keep them separate. I need to find a little container to put them in that's kind of flat though. There's also another pocket here I've yet to populate. Again, just kind of finding my way around this bag, and everything that was in my Vito is now in this bag, so I'm going to be cautious about putting too much more in. The thing is heavy, and you will wrench your back if you I mean, we haul a lot of tools around, so you have to be careful with your lifting practices. Putting too much in it can really be a challenge. Main section of the bag here, there's a nice big pocket that I currently just have some spare bits for my multi-change screwdriver. I've got a set of earplugs. There's a paper clip in there for reset buttons and so forth. Some little I'll carry batteries in here. Just miscellaneous items. Large pocket, nice and handy. I don't want to put too much in it because I don't know how well this plastic's going to last. Lots of pockets on the front of the bag here for bits. Keep an assortment here of screw bits and drill bits. Nice place for them. Some apex bits when just a standard length and extension don't work. These will get into small areas. Nice and handy, quick reach. Okay, so try to organize things by type of work. Over here I've got telco and fastener driving, but here's a puck for putting your like 105 style inserts, you know, your plate inserts, and punching down with the punch down tool. Click them in, saves your hand. If you got a lot of them, you can get a lot of fatigue, but these help. There's a multi-tool that's a pick. If you know how to punch down 66 frames, it's nice to have these. Let's see if I can get it in focus here. Sorry guys. Okay, so but yeah, there's a pick and spudger and all that stuff, and there's a couple of bits here. Keep that along with the Telco stuff. There's a can wrench, network interface boxes. Older ones came with this, and I don't know, I still carry it, even though nowadays they're more of a security item. But I've got a can wrench there. Compression tool for the EZ45s. This is I think Platinum Tools. So that's my Telco section. Oh, there's a breakout puck. This will let you inject tone or test various pairs. Also couple. That's right there with the Telco stuff. Got just a quick handy little ball drive screwdriver. Kind of neat. A lot of torque with a ball like that. Small screwdrivers. Security contacts have very small screws. This is a nice little screwdriver for that. Standard reversible pocket screwdriver is nice to have with you. I have just a standard slotted screwdriver for prying and beating. It gets abused a little bit, but I always keep one with me. I don't like to abuse the multiple bit. You know, they don't take that much abuse, so I always keep one of those there. I need to get really a better one. This is a nice multi-bit screwdriver. The bits fit in the handle, and you know, but any good quality one will work. Ratcheting screwdriver. I keep that there. I prefer to use, you know, I see a lot of guys that have, you know, rows and rows of various screwdrivers and socket drivers and so forth. I just can't carry that much stuff. It's easier. I mean, honestly, most of the time I'm using a screw gun anyway because it's always with me. And when I'm not, this works real well, being able to change the bits out. There is a good high quality, I call it a terminal screwdriver. Reaches into terminals on security panels and various other automation panels and pieces of gear. It's just the right size. Good durable one. It's got a spinning head so that it's nice and comfortable to use, nice and ergonomic. Plenty of torque, but not too much that you're going to break those things. I've got also a little Pickwick interchangeable bit. Fixed screwdriver, it doesn't ratchet, but one of the nice features with this is you use one bit to push out the other bit so that you never really lose bits. They're always stored right in the handle. Stubby is nice for obvious reasons, trying to reach into small areas. I've got a couple of these. I've got this one, and then over on this side I've got another even smaller one for finer screws. This is just another small screwdriver with interchangeable bits. I think there's four. I think there's 4 different bits here on this. Okay, so hand tools. I've got a good pair of needle nose, good pair of eagle beaks. When we work with what we call bundle, it's you know, 2 coax and 2 cats and an outer sheath. It's pretty rough to cut with just a straight pair of dikes. Good to have a set of eagle beaks with you, or anything heavier. Good pair of Lineman's pliers. Keep those here. I use these more than any other tool. It's just a good sharp pair of dikes. Got an angled head, gives you more leverage when you're stripping wire. I ordered for the first time. I've got a pair of Electrician Shears, and you know, I have never used these, but I thought I might like to give them a try. We'll see how this goes. I still use dikes for almost everything, unless I'm working with electrical. If I'm installing light switches, I'll use obviously a good pair of strippers. This is a nice high quality pair of Milwaukee's. Have been real good. The one thing that makes me nervous about them is this this lock here. It's metal, and I try not to work on live circuits, but I'd be lying if I said I never did. And the metal's a little close to your hands, so you do have to be careful if you're working with a live circuit. Good quality utility knife. I like this one because of the ease of changing blades. There's blade storage in the handle. This is I think it's a Lennox. Yeah, their stuff is pretty high quality. I've had good luck with them. Awesome utility knife, quick change on the blades. Got some replacement bits for augers here in the bag. A little out of place here, but the pocket size made it nice and convenient. I like to carry a small hammer always with me, rather than, obviously if we're doing a pre-wire or something more intense, we carry larger hammers, but it's nice to have this small hammer with you at all times. Fits in the bag, doesn't throw too much weight onto it, so there's a little nylon pry tool. Comes in real handy for prying things where you don't want to mar the surface of things around it. Get that right in the bag there. Coax Stripper. Pretty straightforward. Compression tools for various coax fittings. This one has a die that you reverse for whether you're working with RCAs, Fs, BNCs. And this one is just similar, a little different. Sometimes fittings won't go in that first one. This will accommodate larger ones, even RG11 fittings. Coming across the front here, this is just your standard drywall saw. Folds up, makes it nice, stows in the bag easily. Replaceable bits. I always keep 12 gauge wire in my bag. When you're fishing wires through walls and so forth, especially when there's fiberglass, I've really never found a better handy tool. I mean, if there's fiberglass, a noodle isn't necessarily going to work, but it's nice to have this in the bag always to help you reach into a hole and retrieve the wire that you're trying to fish through a wall. Let's see. Oh, along with the coax items, the Coax Stripper and compression tools, this is a tamper-proof fitting tool that will let you, remove lockouts on coax boxes. Some of the network cans, they use this now, so you can't get into them. Keep that there with the coax items. I showed you the strippers, the Electrician Strippers. This is an awesome tool that Scott turned me on to. I think this goes by Plier. Yeah, Pliers. If you have to remove a screw, there's the standard easy outs, speed removers, speed outs, and they go by different names, where you drill and you try to use a reverse gripping tool to. I have had very little luck with these things. I keep them in here because I do try them. They sometimes work, but I have found that oftentimes what they did is they ground these in such a way that they're designed. Oh, I see. I'm picking up some rust here. I need to get some oil on these. They're ground so that you grip this thing. It's got a nice flat head, and they're ground so that as you're turning this way, the lines aren't running this direction. They're running in this direction so that they grip as you're trying to turn. I've had awesome luck with these removing screws. It's something that you don't often need, but if you've got a screw that's corroded in place or what have you, and the socket, the Phillips is shot because we buy crappy screws oftentimes in this country, or we use fasteners that come with equipment and they're crappy, so that people use the wrong size bit and strip out the Phillips or what have you. These work amazingly well. I've even pulled out flush head screws that there's just enough of a lip. It takes very little for these to get a hold of it. These are a fantastic tool. Check them out. Scott's got a video about them on his site. I think they go by under a different name, but the parent company is the same. Really good tools. Coming over, I've got various wrenches. There's a nice small Crescent Wrench. These are fairly new to me. I mean, I guess they've been around for years. Scott's got some vintage ones that he shows off, but these are great. They take the place of a Crescent Wrench, and you know, the jaw doesn't pivot. It's got this compound hinge so that the jaws move. They stay straight and parallel. And as an alternative to a Crescent Wrench, I have found that these are really quick and easy to use. They come in a couple different sizes. A little pricey. These are the Knipex or Knipex. Those are awesome tools though. I've got a standard pair of slip joint pliers. These are Irwin's. Well, labeled vice grip. Thought they were Irwin's because of the color of the handles, but yep, they are Irwin's. So nice to have that. I've got a standard pair of original style of pliers, just various high torque gripping pliers. Electrician Shears. Keep a couple of pairs of hemostats, also very helpful when fishing wires, especially through doors for security, aluminum frame doors and so forth. Come in very handy. Just a long extension bit, fits nice on that side of the bag. There's another little Crescent Wrench here if I have to use two opposing when tightening nuts on an all thread or something. This is a lit screwdriver. Kind of gimmicky, but it does work sometimes. Lock nut wrenches. These are handy. I'd like to see them with an angle, and I think they do make them, so I'm going to look into that. Plus, I think Scott found one that is a completely different design. You can reach in and ratchet it, but these do come in handy when tightening lock nuts. They'll save your knuckles and help you reach into small spaces to get that done. This is a nice handy wrench for F fittings. It's such that you can it's not ratcheting, but it only grips in one direction. So if you flip it the right way, you can rapidly tighten and loosen F fittings. It really should be over here with the coax stuff here. Let's move that. There we go. That's close enough here. Coax here. F wrench there. Up in the top pocket here, I've got a couple of different security and Allen bits. There's one for various types of security. Screws, fasteners, the Torx with the dot, you know, the hole, and not the highest quality bits out there, but all kinds of unibits fit in here. I've got a gator grip, kind of an interesting tool. A multi-size socket. You just depress it on the fastener, and if you're not using too much torque, it's a quick tool to grab. There's a larger multi-bit for my screw gun. There's some more unibits. I've also got a countersink bit in here. And this tool will rethread after you cut some all thread or a bolt, rather than you know, if you're doing a lot of them, this is quick. You just throw it in your screw gun and spin it, and it'll reestablish the starting thread. That's it up there. So that's about it. On the end, I've got a tape strap. I leave this pocket open for putting the main strap of the bag in it. Keeps it out of the way. Keeps it from falling under the bag when you set it down. Kind of nice. straps are a little cumbersome on this bag, but they work. This is a magnetizing and demagnetizing tool. You just run your bits through it. They're labeled for magnetize or demagnetize. Comes in real handy. Have not populated these yet. We'll find something that belongs there. Well, that's my bag in its current state. As you know, it will probably change soon. We're always evolving in how we organize our tools and what we carry. Once again, thanks so much for stopping by and checking out my video. You guys have an awesome day.